In 1963, there were 184,000 Yakuza members in Japan. Today, there are fewer than 19,000. For over a century, the Yakuza were Japan's shadow government. They controlled construction contracts, real estate, financial markets, and entire city districts. They had their own offices, with their names on the door, their own business cards, their own PR departments. They were, in the strangest possible way, hiding in plain sight. But the world changed around them. Laws tightened. Banks closed their accounts. Landlords refused to rent to them. Their children were banned from schools. And one by one, the ranks began to thin. The Yakuza are not dead, but they are dying. And the question of what replaces them may be more terrifying than what came before. Today we climb every rank, from the teenager sweeping the floor of a Yakuza office in Kobe to the boss of bosses of Japan's most powerful criminal empire. Your life as every rank in the Yakuza. Rank 1, the Trainee. Jun-Kosei-in, you want to join the Yakuza. And the first thing you learn is that the Yakuza makes you wait. As a Jun-Kosei-in, a trainee or associate, you are not a member. You are not even close. You are a prospect. Someone who has shown interest and is being watched. Your job for the first months, sometimes years, is to serve. You clean the office, you run errands, you drive senior members around, you stand outside buildings for hours in the cold, and maintaining a lookout. You receive no salary. You survive on tips and the goodwill of members who take a liking to you. The Yakuza doesn't recruit like the Sinaloa cartel or the CJNG, posting on social media, offering instant money to desperate teenagers. The Yakuza is slow, deliberate, hierarchical in a way that reflects Japanese culture at its most extreme. You are being tested for patience, for loyalty, for the ability to endure without complaint. This process can take 6 months. It can take 5 years. Some Jun-Kosei-in never make it past this stage. But if you pass, if you earn enough respect from a senior member willing to sponsor you, you are invited to a ceremony. Sake is poured, a ritual is performed, and in the eyes of the organization, you are reborn. You now have a family, and that family will define the rest of your life. Rank 2, the soldier. Kumi-in, you have completed the Sakazuki ceremony, the sharing of sake that officially makes you a member. Yet you have an oyabun, a father figure who is responsible for you, and you have kobun, younger members who look up to you. You are a Kumi-in, a soldier, the working class of the Yakuza. But here's what surprises most people about the Yakuza's actual business model. It's not primarily about violence, it's about money. Specifically, debt collection, protection fees, and control of legitimate industries. The Yamaguchi-gumi, Japan's largest Yakuza syndicate with headquarters in Kobe, generates billions of dollars annually from construction kickbacks, real estate, financial fraud, stock market manipulation, and control of the entertainment and hospitality industries. As a Kumi-in, you collect. Businesses in your territory pay a monthly fee for protection. Not protection from you, protection from others. In many cases, a Yakuza presence actually reduces street crime in an area because the organization has an interest in keeping things stable and profitable. And your salary starts barely above minimum wage. But with bonuses and side income, a well-connected Kumi-in can earn several $1,000s a month. You also carry something that marks you permanently, because at some point you will begin your tattoo. Rank 3, the enforcer. Shatei. As a Shatei, a younger brother, you have seniority over the newest members and specialize in the Yakuza's enforcement work. But the Yakuza's violence is different from what you've seen in the previous 2 videos. The Sinaloa cartel decapitates rivals and hangs bodies from bridges. The CJNG shoots down army helicopters. The Yakuza, traditionally, uses violence like a surgeon uses a scalpel, precisely when necessary, and ideally without ever having to use it at all. The threat is the weapon. A visit from 2 men in expensive suits with full-body tattoos visible at the collar and wrists is, in most cases, sufficient. There is a code. The Yakuza call themselves Ninkyo Dantai, chivalrous organizations. They have rules. You don't steal from ordinary people, you don't harm civilians, you don't use drugs yourself. You may traffic them, but using them is seen as weakness and is forbidden in many factions. Of course, these rules are broken, but the existence of the code matters. It shapes the culture. It separates the Yakuza in their own minds from common criminals. How your tattoo is now spreading across your back and chest. When you remove your shirt at a public bathhouse, one of the few places in Japan where tattoos are still commonly visible, the room clears. People know what it means. You are marked for life. Literally. Rank 4, the lieutenant. Shateigashira. You have risen. As a Shateigashira, a second lieutenant, you now manage your own group of soldiers. You are a link in a chain that stretches from the street all the way up to the boss of bosses. And here's where Japanese culture shapes the Yakuza in ways that make it truly unique among criminal organizations. Communication is indirect. Decisions are implied, not stated. A senior member never directly orders violence. He simply expresses displeasure, and those beneath him understand what must be done. Yet this protects the leadership legally and reflects a deep Japanese cultural tradition of implicit communication. You have your own kobun now, members who call you their oyabun. You attend formal ceremonies. You exchange business cards that list your organization and rank. Until very recently, Yakuza offices had signs outside identifying them. Members had official addresses, registered with police. In Japan, organized crime existed in an acknowledged gray zone for decades, present, known, but tolerated as long as it maintained order and stayed within certain boundaries. That era is now ending. New laws passed in the 1990s and toughened repeatedly since have made it illegal for businesses to interact with known Yakuza members. Banks close their accounts. Insurance companies cancel their policies. Hotels refuse them rooms. The walls are closing in. And at your rank, you feel it every day. I rank 5. The Underboss. Wakagashira. The Wakagashira is the first lieutenant, the second in command of the entire organization. Below the boss, above everyone else. At this level, your daily work looks almost entirely legitimate on the surface. You manage the organization's business interests, construction companies, real estate holdings, entertainment venues, financial services. You attend meetings with accountants and lawyers. You review revenue reports. The Yamaguchi-gumi at its peak was estimated to generate between $6 and $80 billion annually. Figures vary wildly because the organization is deliberately opaque. What is certain is that it controlled significant portions of Japan's construction industry, where kickbacks and bid rigging generated enormous hidden revenue. You also manage the organization's most delicate relationships, with politicians, with police, with rival Yakuza families. The Yakuza's power has always rested not just on violence, but on being embedded in the fabric of Japanese society. But right now, in 2025 and 2026, everything is fracturing. The Yamaguchi-gumi's membership has fallen from 10,000 in 2014 to just 3,300 today. A splinter group, the Kobe Yamaguchi-gumi, broke away in 2015 and sparked a decade of internal warfare that killed dozens and damaged the organization's reputation irreparably. In April 2025, the main organization sent its executives to a police station to formally surrender and pledge an end to the fighting. A criminal organization, surrendering to the police, voluntarily. That is how desperate things have become. Rank 6, the senior advisor, Saiko-Komon. The Saiko-Komon of the senior advisor is not in the chain of command in a traditional sense. He does not give orders, he gives counsel. But in a culture where wisdom and seniority are revered above almost everything else, the senior advisor may be the most powerful person in the room, precisely because of how little power he formally holds. You have been a member since the 1970s. You have seen the Yakuza at its height, 180,000 members, offices in every major city, construction of entire neighborhoods. You watched the bubble economy of the 1980s make the organization fantastically wealthy through real estate speculation. You watched it collapse in the 1990s. You have watched the laws tighten. Yet the banks close their doors. The young men stop coming, and you have watched something new emerge to fill the gap. Something that worries you far more than any law enforcement crackdown ever did. The Tokuryu, anonymous criminal gangs with no hierarchy, no code, no history. They recruit teenagers on social media. They commit violent robberies, fraud schemes, and contract murders with no structure, no rules, and no accountability. In 2024, Japan investigated over 10,000 Tokuryu members, almost as many as the entire Yakuza. And unlike the Yakuza, they are invisible. They have no offices to raid, no bosses to arrest, no code to exploit. You built something that lasted a century. You watch it fade. And what's coming next scares even you. Rank 7. The boss, Kumicho, the Kumicho. The family boss. In the Yamaguchi-gumi, Japan's largest Yakuza syndicate, this title belongs to one man, Shinobu Tsukasa, known by his real name, Kenichi Shinoda. He has led the organization since 2005. Under his tenure, the Yamaguchi-gumi became the dominant force in Japanese organized crime, crushing rivals, absorbing smaller groups, and surviving government crackdowns that would have destroyed lesser organizations. The Kumicho's authority is absolute, in theory. In practice, running an organization that once had hundreds of affiliate families and now operates under near-constant police surveillance requires a different kind of leadership. Less the warlord, more the strategist. The Kumicho does not commit crimes. He does not handle money directly. He does not give explicit orders. He is surrounded by layers of insulation, advisors, lieutenants, intermediaries, that make direct legal prosecution nearly impossible. He publishes a newsletter. He writes columns on fishing. He is photographed at community events. He is, in the most carefully constructed sense of the word, untouchable. But even the Kumicho cannot stop what is happening. The membership continues to fall. The money is harder to move. The young men who once would have swept floors for years to earn a place in the organization are now joining faceless, anonymous gangs that pay immediately and ask nothing in return. The institution he leads is over a century old. Whether it survives another decade is a question even he cannot answer. Rank 8. The Ghost. The new Yakuza. This is the 8th rank, and it isn't a rank at all. The Tokuryu, Japan's new anonymous criminal gang, represent everything the Yakuza is not. No initiation ceremonies, no oyabun-kobun relationships, no code of chivalry, no business cards. They recruit on social media, TikTok, Instagram, anonymous message boards. They post jobs like a gig economy platform. Need someone for a task in Tokyo? Pay $500, details to follow. The recruits often don't know who hired them or why. They are human tools, discarded after use. In 2024, Tokuryu groups were linked to a wave of violent home invasions across Japan, contract murders, and elaborate fraud schemes that stole hundreds of millions of dollars from elderly victims. The masterminds operate remotely, and sometimes from overseas. It is, in the most horrible way, more efficient than anything the Yakuza ever built. No loyalty required, no ceremonies, no decades of climbing a hierarchy, just a phone, an anonymous account, and a willingness to do whatever is asked. The Yakuza spent a century building rules, traditions, a code, an identity, and now it is being replaced by something with none of those things. Something that cannot be negotiated with, cannot be surveilled through its offices, and it cannot be controlled through its hierarchy, because it has no hierarchy, it has no face. The Yakuza is dying, but what's replacing it may be far more dangerous. From a teenager mopping floors in a Kobe office, to a faceless stranger on a phone, taking orders from someone he will never meet. The Yakuza built one of the most structured, ritualized and long-lasting criminal organizations in human history. And in the end, it may be destroyed not by the police or rival gangs or government laws, but by a generation that wants the money without the code. Rank after rank, until there are no ranks left. Subscribe, because next week we're going somewhere completely different. We're leaving Japan and heading to the Balkans. Your life is every rank in the Balkan Mafia. See you there.